To start crow, I like to typically start in Malasana squat. I think it's a good opener and it really helps to position your feet and hands. So for Malasana, your feet can come really wide. Your elbows work to the insides of your knees, palms pressed together, and you can work your knees out as a hip opener. Again, this is a great place to start. This is going to set your feet and hands up for where they need to be as you work your way into crow. From here, really simply, I like to just take my hands and plop them down on the mat. Wherever they land is pretty much what's going to help set up for this pose. So no need to overthink it, but perhaps about a foot between your hands to get started. Fingertips nice and wide to give yourself a good wide base. Next, we're coming up on our toes and our elbows are bending straight back as if we're going from high to low plank or chaturanga. Now there's two ways that you can take your legs from here. The knees can either perch on your triceps or they can come to the outsides of your triceps. So I'll demonstrate both. So the first one, up on the toes, elbows back, knees balance on your triceps as if they're shelves. Or they can come to the outside and squeeze in as your elbows press out, kind of like you did in Malasana squat. Now the next step, once you kind of get your hand and knee placement, is to take your gaze forward always when you're doing a balance pose and play with picking up one foot, then the other foot. Once you're comfortable with that, you can try picking up both feet. So leaning forward, gaze forward, one foot comes up, maybe just play around picking the other one up. Once you're comfortable with that, both toes come up, core is pulled in tight, and you're in crow. That's one variation of the pose. There's a few different ways that you can take this and a few different things you can workshop from here. So from crow, I showed you the version with elbows bent. You can also work towards crane, which is straightening your elbows. So starting with bent elbows, you can work them towards straight or as straight as possible. There's also an option from crow pose. You can shoot back to low plank or chaturanga. So you're here in crow. And your legs are simply going to shoot back to low plank. There is a variation called baby crow, which is a really super crunchy pose. It gets a little funky, but one that I do like to show. That I like to start from dolphin. So forearms down, feet working towards your elbows. And then yes, you're going to perch your knees on your triceps for baby crow. It's super small and crunchy. And the final variation that I like to show is taking crow into tripod headstand. So you start going through our flow, Malasana, hands down, get yourself a nice wide base. Coming into your crow pose. From here, you're gonna plunk your head right down on the mat, envisioning you're putting it down so it's gonna be a triangle between your head and your two hands. Plunk. Give yourself a nice wide base here, and perhaps working one knee, the other, both, all the way up. It's okay if you get a little shaky there. Even I get a little shaky there, but really using your breath work and your core to pull yourself all the way up. So, to summarize, we have Malasana squat, to crow, to crane with the straight arms, baby crow, which is really crunchy in the small arms, shoot back into low plank, and finally, tripod headstand. So whatever stage you're at, there's something here that you can do to workshop crow.
I'm Coach Rob, and I'm here to talk to you about some cool things that are happening this week at CoachUp. all you lacrosse players